7 p.m. You leave work, take your bus, and go home. Nothing on TV and Rubber Ducky's battery's dead. You grab a drink and open up Tinder. Mustache, no. Muscle bound, no. Too wet, too much gear. Too dirty, too clean, too geeky, too... Oh. And then, brain fart. You swipe the wrong way. And you just lose it. And wonder how you wound up in such a state. Don't worry, it's normal. You're totally addicted because these apps were specifically designed to get your brain to secrete the molecule that makes you feel pleasure, motivation, and addiction. Dopamine. Tinder is a free dating app that lets you swipe through user photos based on their gender and geographic location. It works by swiping, the gesture to move between screens. If you like the photo, you swipe to the right. Otherwise, you swipe to the left. When the interaction is mutual, that's called a match. You can then exchange messages. And maybe even more if you're game. The goal of the app is to get you to swipe for as long as possible, to collect your geolocalization data and gradually push you over to the paying version, which has lots of options, so you can swipe even more. The more you swipe, the more the company rakes in the money. Like all good games, the goal is, besides winning, to have fun playing. So, searching for a partner needs to generate as much pleasure as actually going on a date. To do this, Tinder uses the fact that when you look at someone, your brain can't resist evaluating how aesthetic that person is. That's perfectly normal. For thousands of years, your brain has fine-tuned its ability to identify the perfect reproductive partner in record time. On Tinder, same deal. If you like the person, that activates the aesthetic reward circuit in your brain. It's like when you're at a museum or you listen to your favorite music. Your brain is programmed to recognize what's beautiful and to get closer to it. It's a social mechanism. You can't resist. Your brain looks for beauty everywhere, and when it finds it, it thinks that's a super reward. And reward means... Each time you swipe, a new profile appears, and you find that person attractive or not. It's totally random, and that's the variable reward principle, discovered by the famous American psychologist B.F. Skinner, father of behaviorism. He studied the behavior of mice using his famous Skinner's box. When the mouse inside the box pressed a button, food would come out. Skinner discovered that if the food didn't come out each time, the mouse would hit the button a lot more often. Tinder works exactly the same way. The randomness of the aesthetic reward works like a positive reinforcement and makes you swipe over and over again. It's just like slot machines, where when you win, you want to play again to see if you can win again. To be sure it's activating your aesthetic reward circuit, Tinder evaluates your own desirability behind your back. For years, this evaluation has been based on the ELO score, a system invented by Arpad Elo, a physics professor, to match up chess players with the same level. On Tinder, your score changes depending on your performance. The more likes you get, the higher your score goes. Unlike traditional dating sites where you can view all the profiles, on Tinder, you only see what the algorithm chooses for you based on your score. And to motivate you to log into Tinder incessantly, it will occasionally display profiles with scores much higher than yours to make you think you're in the big league now. You think you have a chance, but you really don't. Because you see them, but they don't see you, because you have a crappy score. The more you swipe, the more dopamine is secreted, and the more you want to swipe. You can't stop because, unlike with your appetite, when you've had enough to eat, you're not hungry anymore. But the pathways for dopamine have no such mechanism for satiety. Swiping becomes an endless activity because it's insatiable. After using it for many hours, your brain creates a shortcut. And it's no longer seeing a photo, but the gesture itself that will generate the release of dopamine. That's why you keep swiping, even if your chats are creepy, your dates are sordid, and you've completely lost hope in humanity. Tinder is the art of tricking your brain into thinking for a few minutes that you've found love, so that you actually just end up swiping all night.